Hello, and welcome back to Torment, Tides of Numenera. As far as I can recall, I was getting rather angry at that person that everybody likes in Mila Vest because she kept asking me to do things. And you know, I don't actually want to play the game. I want to, you know. I've also forgotten what she asked me to. Oh, I have to speak to that man I spoke to before, but that wasn't a quest when I did it. Where is he? There he is. Let's go talk to him. Or not? Oh good, you've come back to bedevil me again. Yes, Melmoth, I have. You'll find none better equipped to answer the questions, certainly. The tides are an inextricable part of us, and he snaps a clamp on one of the attachments on a tube. Wait, she sent you to me? He peers closely at you. Interesting. Every time I talk about the tides, she argues with me, as if she'd spent a fraction of the time I have in studying them. Ugh. I think I might be coming down with a cold. That's not true, I'm just fat. So I always sound like I have a cold. Alright. She probably said that we bring pain through our existence. Let me enlighten you. Everyone brings pain to others. That's true. I have experienced so many lives and memories, and one of the common threads in all of them is pain. Do we hurt other people? We do. But how do we differ from any mortal in this regard? Show me someone without pain, and I will show you a corpse. He winks. And then I'll eat it. Haha, you creepy son of a bitch. Alright.
Remember that.
We are imperfect. We leak tides, or absorb them, or both. Our powers impinge on the minds of others, upon their nervous system, if you prefer. We draw strength from them. We change them in the process, and not usually for the better. This is regrettable, but unavoidable. Adderus might have said that the sorrow is hunting us because we abuse the tides, or some such nonsense. But if that's the case, we're doomed by the nature of our existence. If true, why not use the powers we have? Adderus thinks that a tidal surge on my birth was responsible for a devastating argument between two humans. One of them forgot to use protection, you see. Alright. How do you know so much about the tides? Why do you think the sorrow pursues us? What did you mean when you said the tides were an inextricable part of us? He meant that the tides are an inextricable part. It's pretty self-explanatory. What are the tides anyway? Where did they come from? He's gonna give me an answer like, the tides are a part of everyone, my dear. And I'm gonna slap him right in his smug face. This one. It's entirely possible. The tides are I was gonna say physical, which is exactly the opposite of what that word means. The tides are a psychic force, and when we're born, our minds snap into a particular shape and force out the residue. An unprotected mind nearby might well absorb some of that energy and react in unpredictable ways. But what of it? Does this change anything in your life? Two mortals had an argument. Oh no, boo-hoo. But one of them was a healer. Could have really used a healer. He turns to Calestige. From the look on your face, I'd guess one of those humans was you. He leers. Don't worry, it should have happened anyway. All the surge did was overwhelm your natural defenses and push you into a decision more quickly. He stares at her more intently. Looks as if you've plenty of experience in making rash decisions already. If you're going to keep throwing yourself into things, you really ought to improve your defenses. Be prepared. Now a corpse eater is offering me advice. My thanks, but I will keep my own counsel. He smiles beatifically. That's not how you say that. I think it's fairly close to how you do say it, though, and I can't be bothered. Yes, discard the advice from the man who is centuries old and has accumulated the knowledge of untold lifetimes. That is the best decision you've made all day, I'm certain. He quirks an eyebrow at you. This is one reason why most of us cease consorting with mortals, except when we have to. We have such good advice for them, and they always ignore it. What are the tides anyway? You know, they're a game mechanic. Oh, wait, that's not what he said. You know, they're a psychic energy field. They pervade the greater Sagus Protectorate, but the pockets of tidal activity are localized in the Ninth World. That suggests that though they're a natural force, they're also artificially induced. Civilizations have risen around their use. He frowns. And civilizations have fallen. He scratches his nose. He yawns, blinks twice, and fine. One thing, I have sought to decipher the accounts of those times, but the creatures that made them are strange. The sorrow shows up in images and sounds and spectra I can barely understand. I'm glad that my alarm went off just then. He taps his head. That's why I sought a better method. You get the occasional disease, a strong mind that doesn't want to share its memories with you, but everyone wants to be remembered. Talk to the voices long enough. They realize you're They realize your tongue's too dry, and you're fucked. They realize you're their only true heir. How do you know so much about the tides? He sighs, exasperated, and holds up his bony hand, folding his fingers back as he counts. 1. I am hundreds of years old. I can devote this kind of time. 2. I am dedicated to knowledge. 3. I will do anything in its pursuit. 4. I learned to draw memories from dead people. Okay, now you're just you can't be condescending with that one. 5. I sought the dead who could teach me about the tides. He lowers his fist. Follow that trail of thought and you'll find me at the end. That's how I know. Oh, so do you eat people to gain their knowledge? Alright. And why do I do this, do you think? Let me tell you, since you clearly wanted to ask. It's because the changing man thought the tides were important. He uses the tides to shape us. Oh, man instead of God. Ho-ho! This guy. And do you want to know more about how you were created? I did, and so I researched the tides. The reason for this is that I am not an idiot, unlike so many of our siblings. But doesn't only a truly wise man know that he is not wise? Tell me how you know about the tides again? I wasn't paying attention the first time. I'm not reading that. Why do you think the Sara perceives us? He waves a finger at you. I don't waste any time worrying about it, like worrying about the death of the cosmos. It'll come sooner or later. You want supposition? Here's a list. Because of our mad creator, vengeance, sheer bloody-mindedness, maybe it loves the tides, or loathes them. Could be it hates what we're doing with the tides, but if you talk to Adris, say, you'll find... She'll find she never uses hers. I use mine all the time, yet the sorrow would destroy us both. I mean, you know, you don't know that. You could try and feed her to it. He adjusts one of the tubes on his outfit. I worry more about the deaths of others, and how I might not fuck up my sentences, and how I might gain some of their knowledge. Not about the first's dead vendetta, nor our creator's desire to kill us, nor, certainly, an unstoppable monster from the past. What did you mean when you said the tides were... Just what I said. Did you think that you could come back from the dead because you were born lucky? Our bodies require tidal energy. Cut us off from that energy and we dissolve. It's the way we're structured, the way our sire created us. He invented a mental matrix and imposed it on the bodies he grew. I surmise that this matrix is what allows his consciousness to transfer, and what allows the tidal energy to permeate our forms. Without it, he grins and pulls his hands apart. Sploosh. I apologize for how frequently I'm fucking up my sentences. I assure you there's a good reason, but I'm not going to go into it. But we have the advantage of being able to draw on this power for our own uses. He constructed each of us along different lines, and because of that, the patterns that hold us are different. Is it any wonder that we should be able to channel this into tidal surges? Oh, excuse me. Can you tell me anything about the history of the... Maybe if you eat my corpse when I'm dead, you can learn some of what I know. The knowledge I have, too much for the spoken word. I guess we're gonna have to kill him. Such a shame. I'm really upset about that, but... Let's go? No? Oh, okay. Let me ask some other questions, because I just can't help myself. I love talking to you. Tell me about you, Melmoth. You evil-sounding motherfucker. His lopsided smile seems more like more of a grimace. I'm Melmoth Leverum, sure. I'm the creator of the Dendro, oh, no wonder you're just, like, fucking creepy as shit. The greatest, or at least the most innovative, of the brotherhoods that seek to pass along knowledge from one generation to the next. So many people back away from me because of the way I look, or the way I speak. But let me tell you that in this body I have lived countless lives, seen endless worlds, experienced memories that beggar description. I contain worlds, and they judge me by my appearance? Sometimes I wonder who I'm saving this knowledge for. But with all you're acquired, you must have it all... I said with all you're acquired. Fuck, why do I even try? A waste of life and a criminal waste of knowledge. The weapons being discharged lost to us forever. Each life gone is an experience that will disappear into the mists of eternity, snuffed away, forgotten, never to be seen again. He leans in. Our sire sought to cheat death, to stop that kind of waste. It is beyond my reasoning why he'd allow the endless battle to continue. I don't think I need to talk to you anymore. Don't eat anything I wouldn't eat. Ho-ho, because you eat corpses. I want to eat that. I talked to the guy. Do the thing for me. He said that the tides are within us all and that we should use our powers as necessary. That's because he's a dick. She laughs. I imagine he called me a fool, and worse. He has done more research into the tides than anyone else here in Mielavest. Tell me, did he say anything else? He said he hates you and that he wants to spit in your face. He said I should ask you where your powers come from, if not the tides. I awoke with them. They are not, as far as I am aware, Good. Any manifestation of tidal energies. It's not as though we have a measuring apparatus, of course, but I think I would know if I were using these forces. Yeah, you would think. At any rate, I sent you to speak with Melmoth. Do you believe that he has conducted his studies without anything but his own power in mind? I was under the impression that even though he's a complete piece of shit, really, he's not a complete piece of shit. Look, I don't know. I'm not the heart-claiming guy. You know, unless I can rip them still beating out of the chests of my enemies. A fair response. I have spoken with him extensively, and he can still surprise me. I don't believe in his positions, nor his conclusions, for he may well have inflated the results to justify his actions. But he refuses my mind's touch, and he rebuffs my attempts to inquire more deeply. My own personal views are, of course, irrelevant to the deeper truth that he has his own memories. That's his motives, it doesn't say memories. They mention memories a lot, and my tongue was like, just do it. Has his own motives, and they may be purer than mine. In any case, you have done what I asked. However, if you're keen to enter this mere and take control of the life of your siblings, then I believe you should have practiced resolving their conflicts while they're still in control of their own lives. Help them change for the better. So I have another task for you. Good. Andronis and Rima are arguing. The recent negotiations between the Chalcedon and Padge have broken down. Have broken down is fine too, but it doesn't say that. And these two have taken it hard. They are like to come to blows if they cannot be reconciled. She bows her head. If one strikes the other, the laws of Mielavest are clear. The attacker will be evicted. I don't know if the Sorrow is truly more active, but they came here choosing safety, and it is my wish that they have it. Please, speak with them. Adoris, of all of us here, you're the only one who doesn't seem to want anything, who isn't openly manipulating the others for her own benefit. I mean, she's manipulating us. And you might say it's not for her benefit, but I think she's playing the long game. So what's the play? You say we're free to choose and to our own choices. So what choices are you making? What do you really want? What do you want? She smiles at Makina sadly. What I want is an end to our stupid internecine, sure? Internecine, maybe? I can't say that word. I've never seen it before. And that makes me feel bad. Our stupid internecine warfare. I want us to work together. The squabbles between our sire and those who support the legacy of the First mean nothing in the face of the Sorrow. But get any two of us together and the larger threat vanishes while our death creeps closer still. She gestures to the beauty around her. Mielavest is a garden, a cage. The Sorrow can't come in, but we can't leave. Have you seen animals locked in a menagerie? They are restless, caged, yearning to be free. I mean, this was a little bit irrelevant. You've now said caged twice. If you'd said it 3 times, you'd at least have the power of 3 going on, but you don't. But if they leave the cell, they are hunted by their would-be keepers. So it is with us here, that instead of uniting to solve our problem, we lash out at each other. I would set us... No, it does say us. It says see, though. It doesn't say set. I would see us set aside those differences. I hope you all enjoyed the sound of me adjusting my chair. You are my older sister, and so I am cautious in saying this to you, but you have a certain reputation, even among the rest of us. You are known to be hard, unforgiving. You carry grudges through centuries, even beyond death. Matkina, please, you need to let go. Her voice rasps from her dry throat. Nearly all the authors of my tragedies have been our kind, our sire and his abandonment in my moment of peril, the first in her order to slaughter my village, Padge who bloodied her blade herself, Tash who claimed to be a friend and turned on me, Melmoth who offered me aid and betrayed me to the authorities. She turns her head to glare at Melmoth nearby. Need I go on? Oh, so if I betray her, I'm following a trend? Damn, I thought that was going to be really unique of me. Oh well. I mean, I'm not going to betray her. Nope, I can't. She's the DPS. Do you always act with full knowledge, sister? Are your choices made rationally with forethought, or do you react without thinking? Think on this, and think on what example you set. Forgiveness is for the weak. Yes. She stares at you, mouth agape. Then she closes it and sighs. You're going to fit right in with the rest of our siblings, aren't you? Or rather, you're not going to fit in, which makes you of a piece. Well, go and speak to Rima and Andronus. I said that earlier without any problems. Andronus. Even though I fear what may come of it. I'm not really interested in solving domestic squabbles. I didn't fucking ask. You have already started on the path for... Oh my god, is this really good? Great, bye. Bye. I was hoping I would get some faith with Makina for telling her that forgiveness is for the weak. My tide's still, oh good, they're still the colors I like. Based solely on, those are literally colors that I like. I don't know why I assumed Rima and, Andronus would be up here, but I did. I don't think they are, though. Oh, here we are. They're conveniently right next to each other. This man's face is flushed and angry. Veins throb on his forehead, and his eyes are focused on his companion. Stop talking, Rima. He spits each word, gripping his weapon belt with bloodless fingers. Stop talking, or I'll prove you wrong right now. Ah, but it wouldn't do anything of the sort, Rima replies, grinning as though she intends to eat the man whole and screaming. Even this argument is part of his plan. Do what you have to do, Andronus. If not for the law, you'd already be dead, he says and spits at her feet. Traitor. Fool. You child, she says with laughing scorn. You ingrate. Let's say enough, rather angrily, for that red tide bonus. They freeze mid-shout, breathless and silent, and turn towards you. They blink in unison. Adris asked me to do this, and I just can't be bothered with any shit today. They react like, exactly like, sullen children. Andronus folds his arms and turns away from you. Rima flushes and stares at her feet. All right, she mutters at last. Tell us what you need to know. Don't you need to tell me what I need to know? What are you arguing about? Because I really care about your problems. The two watch each other warily for a moment, as if speaking first will somehow forfeit the argument. We mostly disagree, he says at last, on the amount of respect due our sire. He arches a cold eyebrow at Rima, a silent question. She gives a reluctant nod. Tell me what's troubling you, Andronus, because I really just care so much. I just don't understand her, he says, flinging his hand in Rima's direction. The changing god abandoned us at birth, and fed us lie after lie when he chose to speak with us at all. She claims he has a master plan. I see a man who serves himself, first and always. He doesn't care if we die. Even I care more if Rima dies than our sire does. These things are not mutually exclusive. You can have a master plan and only care about yourself. Calm down. He barks a bitter laugh. Did you know that he sparked the whole war from my body? He got the first angry at me, then ditched this shell, leaving me to deal with the consequences. Good thing the first knows the difference between the face and the mind. He rubs his eyes. Don't you mean you? But Rima... Look, I know how she feels. The sorrow is hunting all of us. It's nice to think that the changing god has a plan to protect us. It's not true. I know. He glares at Rima, then looks back at you. You understand. I know you do. The changing god wants us to throw our lives away in service to him. Now she may be fine with that, he says, pointing at Rima, but I'm not, and I'm betting you're not either. Let's hear your side, Rima. It's simple, sister. The endless battle is a test, and Andronic's side has been failing it for centuries. Our creator managed to annoy the first enough that she stormed off in a huff. He even did it in Andronic's body. You'd think that this big oaf of all people would understand what our sire was thinking. She shakes her head, laughing. The fact of the matter is, our father created this sanctuary for us to protect us from the sorrow. But hiding isn't a strategy. Eventually, we'll have to take the battle to it. The gleam in her eyes is a banked fire. And when the time comes, our father wants an army who will follow his orders without question. He allowed the first to spread her doubts, and the traitors among us have flocked to her side. She tosses Andronis a scornful look. You feel it too, don't you? She says, her eyes searching yours. We all die if we're divided when we face the sorrow. It's better that we deal with the weakest among us now. And that's it, she says with an elegant shrug. Simple, like I said. Andronis simply can't accept his grand rebellion is all part of our father's plan. Can't accept that we owe our existence and ongoing survival to him. She sneers at Andronis. If you hate this sanctuary so much, why not leave? Are you really going with the whole, he's got a super amazing plan, but I'm smart enough to have figured it out? Really? Okay, sure, whatever. Before I make any decision, what sort of solution? Really? Before I make any kind of ruling, just let me know how I can be, win on both accounts. Great, good. Sure. Oh, indigo, the rarest tide. Neither of them speak for a moment. Their faces are identical sculptures of surprise. I don't know, he says, glancing at Rima. Nothing you could say would make us take each other's side. And with apologies to Adoris, I don't want to get along with Rima. I've hated her for too long. No offense. Her lip quirks. Honesty doesn't offend me. She looks over at you. And we need a decision. You can't please both of us. Our points of view aren't ever going to line up. If I kill both of you? No, that would just make me happy. Andronis and Rima go still and stoic, showing no sign of the emotion they displayed before. In this moment, they look very much alike, like family. Wow. Ready to make a decision. Bye. You are endangering everyone with this petty argument. Both of you must leave Melmoth until this is settled. Andronis, she's right. You clearly hate it here. Leave before this argument turns to violence. Can I get them to fight each other? I really hope so. Rima, he's right. Our sire doesn't care about us. Some time outside Melmoth might convince you of that. Go. I want you to stop this argument right now. Neither one of you is right. Do you really want to break the truce? To kill each other over a point of view? Can you put a stop to this? We are a family, after all. So apparently I can't make them fight each other. That's upsetting. But let's do this one.
I'll remember that.
Oh look, the golden indigo. Andronis opens his mouth, shuts it thoughtfully. Finally he speaks. You're right, we're safe here, but the sorrow is circling. If the rumors are true, I don't want to do its work. All right, she says, letting out a ragged breath. Just, let's talk about something else, Andronis. Can we do that? Great, that was such a satisfying resolution. I'm so happy. Good. Hi, Adoris. Have you helped Rima and Andronis come to a conclusion yet? Well, unfortunately, I didn't get to tell them that forgiveness is for the weak, so... That's my favorite line in this game. She claps her hands softly. Well done indeed. To be free to choose is part of life in Melmoth. We must own our choices, just as we own our responsibilities for the outcomes of those choices. Before I can allow you to alter the course of a brother's life, oh my fucking god, have I not done enough? I would hear your opinion on something which touches the lives of all our kind. You have no doubt heard of the endless battle, but what do you know about it? Why do they fight? And who is right? She bows her head slightly. If, perchance, you have heard only a little about the conflict, you may wish to speak to your brethren before answering. What's the point? She sneers. The endless battle used to mean something. It used to be people with principles, but they lost sight of their true goals, and it became a self-perpetuating war machine. I don't think the first could stop it now, even if she were alive. It's worthless and stupid. Not uncommon opinion, Matkina, at least among those of us who abstain from the fighting. She turns to you. What about you? Have you an opinion as strong, or do you wish to gather more information before giving an answer? I would like to ask you some questions first. Yeah. What do you think of the endless battle? Why am I asking this? I don't give a shit what she thinks. The truth, she shudders and her voice is hot with anger, is a waste of life, a waste of talent, a waste of Numenera that could be used to make the world better. They say conflict is the driver of progress, but the world has achieved all the technological progress it requires. The progress we need is in learning, in the humanities, in learning to communicate well and truly with one another. Oh my god, I want to kill her so hard. Then she sighs, but both sides claim to be doing it to protect us, and can I truly argue with them? No. I have a strong opinion, except that I don't, really. It's not important, though. Let's go talk to this person who seems to have some sort of side quest. I'm gonna start calling those adjacent quests and see if that catches on. This slim cast-off looks to be in his late teens. He carries an odd-looking device that resembles a scorched circle, and it's not hard to draw the connection between it and the red mark of a recent injury that travels along his forehead and under his hair. The man seems confused, hesitant, as if he has so many questions that he isn't sure which to ask first. I want to ask. I'm not sure. He gives a shaky smile. I want to ask you a lot. We all do. She studies his face and comes to a conclusion. I don't know him, she mutters to you. He's a newer cast-off, at least within the last century. Looks like he's been worse used than all the rest of us. Who did you mean when you said we? He blinks hard at your question, twisting the blackened circlet through his hands. I once fought in the endless battle, found this in a giant clay hand, trapped in a half-shattered block of stone. I took it. He shakes his head, as if denying the memory itself. Put it on. The circlet spins through his hands, faster and faster. I saw darkness, knew I was inside the owner of that hand, a clay automaton, imprisoned, knew I could control it. He shivers. I did. Broke it free from the stone, used it in service of our sire for many years, thought of it as my armor. He blinks hard again, like a man trying to dislodge a thought with his eyelids alone. Then, a war construct collapsed on the automaton, crushed it, and the crown burned. I remember screaming. Then 100 voices in my head, arguing with each other, shouting, fighting. Another hard blink. The automaton wasn't armor. It was a container for gods. Sure. What do you mean a container for gods? My armor wasn't a tool. It was a locked chest with a hole inside, a deep hole full of terrible gods. He shuts his mouth and says no more on the subject. Well, that's terrible. You should be glad you're still alive. Yeah, red tide. I am, he says, grimacing. I am. What do you think it is in your head again? Okay, what was the endless battle like? He shudders. We were killed. The dead crept into my mind. They told me to kill more, and I did because that's what we do. It's in our nature. You know, we're worse than animals, cast-offs, humans. Whether created or evolved, we're all inclined to conflict. What kind of questions do you have for me? You forced your way through our portal, he says. It kept us safe from the sorrow. Now it's open. He swallows, eyeing you reproachfully, carefully. You feel a stirring of forces around you. You have to know how scared we are, he says at last, avoiding your eyes. We're going to die. You've left us undefended. You know, I know I should probably feel bad about that, but I really don't. You need to tell me how bad it is, and I need the truth, he says, raising his eyes again. Have you seen it? Have you seen the sorrow? Yep. I knew it, he says, going pale. We're running out of time. Now listen, he says, blinking hard. This is even more important. Have you abused the tides to change things, to influence people? Yep, and I don't regret it. You will, he says miserably. You will when it finds you. Every use of our power draws it like a fire in the sky. As a quick side note, I wonder if perhaps going through the game and choosing not to use any of your tides means an easier boss fight later. You should leave, he says, but there is no heat in his words. Maybe it'll follow you and leave us alone. His trembling hand seeks the red wound at his hairline. Bye.
Yes, now.
Rima, why don't you tell me about... I'm kidding, I don't give a shit. Alright, bye. We should probably ask Melmoth what he thinks about the Endless War. I'm sure he'll have an interesting answer. Hi, Melmoth. Why can't I... Yeah, this. Sure. He stares at you for a moment. Why are you bringing up old memories? What difference does it make now? That's... yeah, fair. He glances at Metkina and shrugs. She betrayed me, as she has most of her kind. Though in my case, she had the gall to accuse me of betrayal. He flaps a hand at her. Oh, keep those blades in your sleeves. I've put it behind me as best as I can. As should you. Forget it. She stares at Melmoth and her eyes harden. I do not forget, Melmoth. What you did to me is unforgivable. Your actions were reprehensible. They remain so. Everything that happens to you happens for good reason. He snarls to you. Is our business concluded? Yes. What about you, random shopkeeper? What do you think of the Endless War? Or not. Okay, I don't care enough to ask about any of that other thing. Any of that other things. Yep, good. This is definitely the game for me. I'm gonna tell you what I think of the Endless Battle now. Very well. What do you believe the point of the Endless War is? Let's go with this one. She frowns. I would then argue that our kind has become weaker over time, wasting our energies on a fruitless battle when we could be fighting the sorrow. What do you say to that? It exposes weakness. She nods. There is merit in standing by one's opinion. Only be certain that, in doing so, you do not shut your ears to the opinions of others. You are far too late for that lesson. The tides are red and white, man. They're red and white. She clasps her hands together. So, why do you think I have asked you this? No, let us start from the first task. Why would I tell you to talk to Melmoth when he ridicules my beliefs? I don't give a shit, really, but this is probably it, because that seems to be your whole deal. Precisely. When you have incomplete information, when we have incomplete information and are exposed, yep, good, to alternate, opposite viewpoints, how do we judge which is true? We must reach a conclusion at some point, but unless those conclusions are backed with this was not a good day for me to stream. Incontrovertible evidence, sure. You must never imagine that you have the sole grasp on the truth. And what do you imagine I intended when I asked you to intervene with Rima and Andronus? Her deal is to try and get you to be her, so she can have lots of hers, and then push her agenda of killing the sorrow. There you go, that's what it is. To learn how to make a decision, stick with it. Sure. I demur. None of our kind have any difficulty with forthright action. Indeed, one might say that we are hard-headed, stubborn, even obstinate. Our continued existence against the sorrow's depredations are evidence of that. Say one thing about our Creator, he imbued us with an abundance of willpower. My intention for you in this task was to have you change the lives of your siblings for the better, while they still control their own bodies, to offer them alternatives and see if you can provide them a route through their troubles that maintains their core goals. Then we come to the question of the endless battle. What purpose did that discussion serve? Oh god, I don't care. This one. It is important for you to understand the greatest conflict our siblings have inflicted on the world, but whether there is any truth behind it is not for me to say, nor was it the purpose of the task. You dumb shit. Thanks, Adoris. Thanks. The goal in all of this was to make you question your assumptions, to see things through others' eyes. Ah, well that would be why I didn't get that one. I didn't really go and ask anyone at all. She holds your gaze. It may be that nothing of import happens in Zaren's mire. You might enter, speak with Mazov, and leave without altering him a bit. But even if so, there will be other mirrors. What if the next one is Melmoth's, or Rima's, or even mine? Well, whose assumptions will you take with you into that life? Whose goals will you accomplish, and at what cost? I will accomplish my goals at any cost. Especially since I don't really have to pay them. You have the power to change the course of a life, of many lives, without their permission or even their knowledge. You will have to weigh their desires against your own, deciding whether the needs of your life are more important than theirs. You will have to know, with the utmost certainty and integrity, what does one life matter? Where is the option that if it's not my life, it doesn't matter? Okay, one life doesn't matter. Okay, alright, every life is important. No. Life matters only if you experience it. Alright, that's interesting. What is life? Baby, don't hurt me. That's what is love. Anyway, one life can find new knowledge, make new discoveries. Okay, talking about legacy, who cares? Manages in continuity of life. Let's do this one, because Eratis will probably appreciate that. And it's red. She murmurs laughter. Is this a criticism? I cannot disagree that life should be lived rather than observed. One can observe all the way to the grave and suddenly realize that one's life was wasted.
I'll remember that.
From within her robes, she produces a small, clean box. Oh, thank God it's clean. If it was dirty. A stylized version of the Changing God's sigil is emblazoned across the top of it. This is the Merecaster of a cast-off named Zarian. One brother looked into it and reported seeing Zarian in the fields of Osfagan, and later speaking with Mazoff. I highly recommend you take care of any unfinished business before you enter the Mere, because this will change the act. You can change the past after all. Anything might happen. Let me know when you're ready. I'll return when I'm ready, because I really need to kill myself. So I can talk to Eratis in my labyrinth. I suppose there's not going to be any way to kill myself in Meal of Est, since, you know. I don't know why I'm talking to people named Castoff. They're clearly not going to have anything to say to me. Arrow the Chalcedon. Welcome back. You don't seem that upset that I opened the portal. That's because closing it wasn't necessary to begin with. Shields are good enough. She rolls her eyes. Our brothers and sisters worry too much. Must run in the family. My name's... Are you royalty? She says. Only in a technical sense. A few years back I did a favor for the type of person who can spin titles out of thin air. I told her I only wanted the money, but she insisted. She shrugs. So, Lady Ange. It's opened a few stubborn doors over the years, but other than that, I don't wave it around much. I need a place to rest. Well, if you pay me money. Yeah, no. Fuck no. What are those wires? Inventions of mine, she says. Cobbled together from parts, of course. Like everything, these beauties are wired. Well, not really. But, you know, into my head. I use them to build and fix things that are really, really small. She beams at her hands. I've had them almost as long as I've been alive. Oh, that's nice. Bye. I'm starting to get the impression that I can't go to the labyrinth. I'm also starting to wonder if perhaps there is some sort of game mechanic where I can kill myself. If I press like J or something, it'll be like, kill yourself. Like, I really want a kill yourself button now. just right there, just like, yeah, go for it. Oh dear. Alright, let's go explore around and see if I can't find some way to... Maybe I can just throw myself off a cliff or something. This way. Let's... do this. This one. Oh, something's happening. The arcane humanoid shimmers and displaces across multiple versions of itself in a blink. So quick is the motion that you almost doubt your senses. The black-clad being makes slow, deliberate movements, its eyes like dull grey jewels set into an expressionless face. You sense a malevolence caged. Its voice is deep and rich. I am Silver. Are you a tide? Hi! You are a fellow seeker, yes? Tantalum has sent me to learn the secrets of the valley. I can smell the desire on your skin. but not the success. I have explored many of them and learned many things. Tantalum has said I will find secrets here. He is correct. Keep up the search, and your desires will see a reward. What are you? She whispers. His selves are an illusion, not a true ripple in reality. Do not fear him on that account. I am an acolyte, a seeker of knowledge, a devourer of artifacts. Wow, a devourer of artifacts? They must taste awful. A stumbler on the path of truth. His eyes shine. An answer for the unanswerable. You sound a bit like a dick, if I'm honest. Tell me what you're doing here again? Doing fucking whatever. What have you found in these tombs? The strange face shifts through a variety of shapes. Truths of the old worlds reveal themselves to me. Secrets of time and reality. The shifting of particles smaller than perception allows. Oh, excuse me. Undergrid all, but they are not a part of my truth. So you believe Tantalum? I thought he was full of shit. Certainly. All of humanity's wisdom, even much that is not of humanity, lies buried in this necropolis. It is only a matter of time and effort before one finds answers. Oh, thanks for that, Silver. Well, I guess he's not a tide, then.
We shall see.
Let's click this and get some more, random backer names, I assume.
Fine.
I'm pretty sure that I have a code from, Phoenix, but I can't remember what it is. Look at the other buttons. Nope, never mind. Press the buttons randomly. Have we been here? I think we've been here. Yes, I think we have.
Let's go.
Let's go over there. Actually, let's go directly down. Never mind. Thought something more interesting was going to be here. I was perhaps hoping I could take those swords.
All right.
Huh. Turning my microphone sensitivity up was a good move.
On it.
Oh, well, this looks
Yes.
slightly different. Alright, okay.
I'm ready.
Well, I think we're just gonna bugger off. Back to the entrance. Right, well, let's talk to that man and see if perhaps he thinks that we've buggered around in enough random tombs to give us something. Perhaps, you know, push us off the edge and into the labyrinth. You know, something like that, perhaps. I never thought that I would be considering deliberately starting a fight with someone and then losing it. Hi. Oh, I forgot about this. I met Silver. Ah, and how is that delightful creature? How has it been doing on its particular task? What is Silver? What kind of creature? A human, I suspect, though in a stranger shape. He smiles to himself. Strange shape indeed. What answer is Silver looking for? Well, that's for him to decide. But I imagine it's not an answer he seeks, more like he's seeking himself. Or itself, if you prefer. Let me ask you something else. Why are you standing around here? Wow, that is a terrible answer. I'm not even reading that out. Why are you just asking me to explore the tombs? If it weren't so good-hearted, I'd be offended. I mean, really. The trade is a benefit, I'll grant, but the real joy is watching travelers find their truths out here. Alright, you weirdo. Oh, I never did find out about that kid. Who have I not spoken to? I'm getting the distinct impression that I'm going to have to just sort of randomly fuck around with tombs. For quite some time. Let's try talking to these guys again. I wanna go in here. Oh well. Can I interact with the other ones? No. Well then, never mind. Walk into the light.
At last.
Let's go and talk to Bellatrix, for I'm sure he has a lot of important things to say. Hello again, my friend. Do you know anything about a dead girl? Oh, there we go. He seems taken aback by our question. Choi, I remember that name. It was from a tomb in the necropolis, though I don't remember anything else about it. The name only stuck in my mind because of the strange way the tomb made me see it. I can't explain it. You'll have to see for yourself. Just remember to hold your breath. He scratches his chin. Remember I had joined one of the memorialists for her rounds that day. That particular marker was in tomb 4221. Bye. Well, that was convenient. It's almost like I had read a wiki entry. I didn't, for the record. Not for that. I did for the serial killer quest, you know, which helped me oh so much. But not for that. Let's walk into the light. That'll be great. Let's walk over here. And go into one of those fantastic portals that I've heard so much about. I don't know what that accent is.
On it.
All I can tell you is I'm not doing it very well. Quick, to the Batmobile.
I'm ready.
I know it doesn't look it, but that's what this is. I'm glad that we're getting to advance this quest. I was quite interested in advancing it. I hope Aratus sticks around in our labyrinth. I suspect that's not tied to any of the acts. Oh, excuse me. Now everybody at home, hold your breath. And the fourth hexagon... I don't need to read that. It's fine. I was sure we were going to be underwater or something. You don't have to hold your breath anymore. It's fine. Apparently there's a thing here.
Ready.
Well, wasn't much point in doing that.
All right.
As you approach the rock pillar of the tomb, you feel subtle vibrations in air temperature and pressure around you. Tiny gusts and zephyrs push your eyes towards specific striations in the stone. Allow the wind to guide your eyes.
I'll remember that.
Oh, excuse me. Remembering what you were told, you hold your breath. The gentle breezes control the flickering of your eyes toward unpredictable places on the wall, and the patterns and purpose of the gusts quickly become clear. They have been training your eyes to see, and suddenly the truth comes clear in twisting letters made from distortions in the air itself. They're in an older version of the truth, but you can read them. It's an epitaph, and it bears the name Choi Chi Soul. Chi Soul. That was the surname of the memorialist you met when you entered the valley. Ronus Chi Soul. The wind has not stopped. Its subtle pressures are trying to guide you to new patterns. Sure. It blinds you. Shit. Words appear in the air, shivered into being by the subtle gusts, and you read the tale. Come you now to the tomb of Choi Chi Soul. It stands empty, for her body is gone, wrested away by the foul children to feed their endless gate and its infernal master. We raise this marker to commemorate the life of our beloved, to swear undying vengeance upon the man who stole her from us. Choi Chi Soul, your name will live forever, except for when everyone forgets about it. The shapes hover in the air a moment longer, and then the air ceases in its restless flight. The letters disappear instantly, and all that remains is the sound of your breathing, because you didn't hold your breath, apparently. Well, that quest was disappointing. I was hoping at least for some XP. But, I guess not. Guess we're not getting that. So what happened with that guy? The one behind the, all the purple stuff. Oh well. I'm hoping now if we go to the pyramid, which I think is where we heard that name initially, perhaps we will get to do something with that.
Yes.
This is not a pyramid, but it is what I meant. I think the pyramid's this thing over here. Examine the crystal again. Never mind. Is that it? Ask about Choi's surname. Right, so do I have to ask this guy? Yeah. We are going through a lot for some random visions we had one time. Remember, kids, if you have visions from a gem, you're going to have to go and ask a lot of people about a lot of unconnected things. Or maybe you're doing it because of the gem. I don't know.
Action! Here I come!
I'm glad that I can pretend it's raining. Very, very slowly. Hi. Tell me about your dead relation. Have you taken care of the cultists? The longer it takes, the more I fear for all of us. He puts his hand across his eyes. I'm sorry. I shouldn't rush you. How can I help you? He lowers his gaze. You seem like a strong person, able to handle problems. I trust you are strong enough to stop them. I found a tomb for you know, Choi Chi Soul. How interesting! No, sadly I've never heard the name before. They didn't say it before. I took my name from, not from Choi's marker, but from the hero I was in my true life, Ronus Chi Soul. Here, let me give you the code to that tomb, so you can visit yourself. He clears his throat. Maybe Choi's name is in the histories, if you can access them, that is.
Making a note.
Good. I really wanted to fuck around in more tombs. Can I kill Kolo? I know I tried before, and it was like, nope. But I really want to kill him. But I just want to kill him so bad. What's this? Oh, I have to do this? I want to. I really want to. Alright. Kolo, let's fight. Come on, let's go. Come on, go, 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 go. Fine.
Let's go.
I'm glad that my character then also said go. Can I interact with this? Can I do something with this? No, I can't. Alright. Who knows, maybe we'll get to fight in that tomb. And I'll be really torn between actually trying to win and trying to lose. Rising before you is a tall and tapering obelisk crowned with the carved stone head of some elegant, sharp-eared animal with 6 eyes. Wrapping around the obelisk are bands of engraved hieroglyphs. Examine the stone head. The carved head mounted on top of the obelisk stares out into the distance, its eyes empty and mournful. Except for 4 stylized depictions of the same sharp-eared animal that tops the obelisk, the pictographs make no sense to you. Examine the base. The base of the obelisk is smooth, untouched by any weathering or other troubles that seem to have eroded much of the other ruins in this place. It sits in a pool of acrid liquid. The liquid smells foul and caustic, but the obelisk appears undamaged. It's unclear how much more of the obelisk lies beneath the pool. The statue's head seems to move until its eyes stare directly into yours, which is like all the way around. They are still mournful, but no longer empty. A faint, beckoning glimmer shines within. You turn to your companions, but they don't seem to notice that anything strange has happened. Look into its eyes, hope that it kills you. A wave of dizziness overcomes you as you gaze into the statue's eyes. You are no longer facing the obelisk. Indeed, you are no longer human. You are now a 6-eyed cat. The tail of the dead lack in your mouth drops along the ground as you creep through the dense foliage to the temple. I was joking. You peek out the Gandu fawns and seek the old monk, Nimu, shucking how pods on the weathered steps. You pad out to greet him, and he grins toothlessly at the sight of you. There she is, he says, chuckling. There's my brave hunter, and with a gift. How thoughtful. You drop the lack at his feet and arch your back as he strokes your fur and adjusts your collar. But your work isn't done, sweet girl. There's lacks aplenty in the grain room. Bring me a dozen more before I finish these hows, and I'll give you your favorite nibble. A dozen lacks is nothing to a hunter of your skill. You pad off to the granary, ready for battle. The obelisk reappears, and you realize your joy was remembered only. Look into the statue's eyes. Another wave of dizziness overcomes you as you succumb to the statue's memories. You watch from the undergrowth, terrified, as the followers of the bird god pull down the stone statues of the Great Ones and chase the monks from the burning temple. Heathen, cries the leader, worshippers of false gods, kill them all. A birdman sees you. He shrieks, a Setral. We must kill it. The monks hide their souls in the little beasts. If we don't wipe them all out, the monks will return as strong as ever. You turn and bound into the jungle as a mob of angry men crash in after you, and the obelisk fills your vision again. A Setral, not whatever the hell I said. So that's what the creature is called. I have to say, putting your soul in a cat seems like a pretty smart move. You watch from a low branch as grave robbers tear up the stones of the ruined temple's nave. Looking for the old catacombs, their leader sits on the stone head of a fallen statue, patting it and stroking its pointed ears. He laughs. This is what the old monks worshipped before the Jarudi wiped them out. The Prince of the Setral. They say his big ears hear all the secrets ever whispered within earshot of any of those 6-eyed pests. You hiss at the insult. He looks up. Hoy, there's one now. Hasn't been a monk alive around here to tame a Setral in 100 years. He chirps at you. Come here, little one. Let me see that jeweled collar of yours, won't you? Looks like lovely workmanship. You give him a disdainful look and climb further up the tree as the obelisk returns. The memory fades, but you still get XP. I'm gonna level up, I swear. You watch from under a Gandu bush as a father and mother drop double armloads of springwood in the middle of the temple ruins, then sit and mop their brows as their 3 children begin stripping the stalks of the bark. Plenty to build with out here, at least, says the father, and we'll need all we can get, says the mother. Without a perimeter fence to keep out the balls and the skullhounds, we'd be dead in a week. What about the lax? One of the children cries. The father laughs. Pray to Gunny, daughter. Maybe he'll send one of his servants for us. He's the prince of all Setral, you know. Your ears pick up. At last, you are wanted. It's time to hunt. That must be the passcode for the whisper lock in the... Oh, great. Yeah, that... Wait, based on what? Fine. You got that password you needed already. I'm glad that I'm not only fucking up sentences that I'm reading, but also sentences that I'm, forming in my mind and then saying. That's good. So, if, unlike me, you decide not to immediately kill everything in sight, that's how you get the password.
Let's go.
Apparently if you just click this 100 times, it goes away. Oh, did I click the wrong one?
Of course.
As you touch the engravings on the epitaph, you feel familiar stirrings of air pushing your eyes toward the imperfections on the surface. As with Choi's tomb, the glyphs the glyphs of the truth curl into shape as distortions of the air and form themselves into the name of the deceased, Ronus Choi Soul. More words begin to form, taking shape like clear smoke. Examine archives. Display likenesses. Leave. Display likenesses. A host of images appear, a series of pictures collected from the lifetime of a handsome, driven man in various poses. As a baby learning to walk, as a child exploring the shell of some sort of crashed flying vessel, as a young man studiously dissecting a Numenera tool, as a father, as a widower. Through the course of years, his face grows more haggard and rugged, but he retains a youthful charm. He looks nothing like the Ronus Choi Soul you encountered outside the valley. Examine archives. Outside in the valley. That's, A whisper of wind tickles your ear. Protection of archives enabled. Speak the code and read freely. You remember the words of Choi's marker. Your name will live forever. And so you whisper that name. Choi. It works. Realms of potential information begin spilling into the air, hidden behind these words. Shit you don't care about. Good. Lighted images appear in the currents of air, subtly distorted, and they show the progression of Ronus Choi Soul's life. A voice, slightly modulated through the wind, speaks. Ronus Choi Soul was born Ronus Genvin, an only child in a successful merchant family of Sagus Cliffs. His parents sought for him a position within the bureaucracy. He showed an early aptitude for the gentlemanly pursuits of governing, weaponcraft, and poisons. Oh, that's interesting. Poisons are gentlemanly now. His interests took him elsewhere. He became fascinated by the secrets of the ancients and experimented with their lost knowledge under the tutelage of the Aeon priests. As one of their number, he sought the secrets of life and established himself in the field of medicine, focusing particularly on those damaged by the Numenera. He married Rinda Choi Soul, taking her name for himself into their family. They had a daughter named Choi. She was the new center of Ronus's life until the children of the Endless Gate abducted and murdered her. Ronus vowed to avenge Choi's death and destroy the cult. This vendetta consumed him. Options now include a return to the main tree where you can hear and read about his experiments, or you can continue with Ronus Choi Soul's vendetta against the children of the Endless Cult. Well, I've always been a fan of vendettas. With the loss of his daughter, Choi Soul resigned from the Aeon priests and turned his full attention to destroying the cult. By then, they had moved on, leaving him with no object for his revenge. The voice flatly notes. Rinda Choi Soul took her own life. Ronus redoubled his efforts, sold all that he possessed, and devoted himself to finding the children. In time, he hired an explorer named Marcisa? This archive's terrible. I can't even pronounce that name. To assist in this pursuit. There's a pause, then. Neither returned. Years after disappearing, Choi Soul sent a letter to his oldest mentor. The voice quakes slightly. In it, Choi Soul explained that he had found the children and their leader in Inifir. He wrote, Inifir and the others are victims, not monsters. They are prisoners of pain, and Inifir is a slave to dark masters beyond our plane. Rather than seek vengeance, I will endeavor to set them free.
I'll remember that.
Some months later, Choi Soul's body was transmitted to that mentor as well, and many years after that, the body of his guide, Marcisa, who was deposited in the Valley of Dead Heroes. Thus ends the story of Ronus Choi Soul, entombed herein. His wife Rinda Choi Soul is interred in her family's ossuary in Sagus Cliffs. The marker of his daughter, Choi Choi Soul, can be found at 4221. Marcisa's, tomb lies at 1254. I'm pretty sure I've pronounced that differently every time I've read it. So that's good. Experiments. A voice speaks. Experiments included vivisection and necrosection on a variety of creatures across the Protectorate's biome. These led to investigations into cross-dimensional manifestations and psychoses, a field of study Choi Soul abandoned upon the death of his daughter. Bequests. A subdued male voice speaks. While Scholar Chi Soul liquidated the overwhelming majority of his state shortly before his disappearance, certain family trusts and ongoing honoraria and royalties remained. These were assigned to the Aeon priests of Sagus Cliffs until confirmation of Chi Soul's death. At that time, his remaining properties sheathed into the city. Genealogy. A voice of indeterminate gender reports. I'm glad that they've got the full spectrum. Scholar Chi Soul Ni Genvin conducted extensive research into his background. He has uncovered trace evidence that he is distantly related to the slave families, though further research suggests his particular branch was excised 150 years prior to his birth. He married Rinda Chi Soul, and they produced one daughter named Choi. She perished, and with her passing, both the Chi Soul and Genvin lines vanished. Bye.
Of course.
Let's enter the code to the other tomb. This one. I hope this counts for that side quest. Oh well, this is very different. Turns out she's alive. Oh no! Oh, hi guys. Are we gonna fight? Oh, I love fighting. You can see the whites all around this man's eyes. His face is frozen in a rictus of frenzy. Can you feel it? The power of the Endless Gate. It calls to us. It is time. Yes, it is. Yes, it all ends now. The insanity of this prison we call life. Wow, you're... Alright, edgelord. Before he can utter another word, this man's spine goes taut. His expression becomes that of a towel being savagely wrung out, but his voice stays drenched in childish glee. They call us now. We gonna do this or what? No, I want to fight the. Good. That's. Thanks for that, game. What do you think about that, Makina? You saw Melmoth. You know now why I don't forgive. He is stubborn, obstinate, beyond hope of salvage. Adris is a fool. She slashes her hand like a knife through the air. We'll have no more talk about forgiveness. She exhales sharply. All right, if you don't have any questions, let's move on. Let's talk about our siblings. Here it comes. She acts as if she's readying herself for a storm. I'm ready for the litany. All you newborns have it. All right, go. Have you avoided the sorrow? I know little more than you. They might know more in Mila Vest. What I can tell you for sure is that it hates us cast-offs. You're never sure when it'll come. She shivers slightly. It comes for each of us, like we're calling to it. As for how I avoid the sorrow, well, you ever get the feeling that someone's looking at you? The sorrow's attention is like that, except that it feels like you've made an enemy. The creeping paranoia that it's coming for you, slow urgency mounts, and you start to feel like you need to lash out. But what I do? I run, I leave, and I don't come back. Try to throw off whatever scent it's picked up, and after a while, the pressure eases, and I can come back again. I don't try to go somewhere safe, like Mila Vest. It'll find me eventually. It always finds us. The best we can do is postpone the inevitable. Let's talk about the Changing God. He's a greedy, manipulative, domineering fool. I've also heard he's quite charming, witty, and an absolute genius. I suppose he'd have to be, given how long he's managed to keep ahead of the sorrow, but I've never met him, as far as I know, so the only judgment I have on the man is what I've heard from others. I mean, our father inspired a cult. I assume you've met Kasmin and Mimion? Ugh. What's missing from their lives that they have to pin their hopes on us? Pathetic, aren't they? My thoughts exactly. Let's talk about something else. She looks at you, waiting. Let's talk about you. She gives you a slow, evaluating look. You were a part of my story. What else did you need to know? Did Melmoth have you do something to do with her... She looks down and sighs. Yes, and no. I wanted to make something of myself. Look at all our siblings, what they've done, and here I was, a simple thief, hiding in the country, making no name for myself, making no difference in the world. I didn't want to be a ruler, didn't want to be a king. I just wanted to be something. She murmurs laughter. You talked to Melmoth. Pragmatist, not much for half measures. He said if I wanted to make a name for myself, use my natural talents, and make a difference, He knew a way for me to help. She shakes her head. I'd fought and killed before, but it was in the heat of the moment, usually. I'd never taken money for it. My first kill for coin, it was... She taps her lip. It was liberating. I was good at it. It was like it was something I'd been born to do, and who knows, maybe it was. Before long, they started calling me the White Death. People feared me, and I was not happy. Maybe content. Her face darkens. And then Yolan, Melmoth's second, told me Melmoth was plotting against me, so I struck back at him. She stares you down, defiant. That's what happened. Whether I was right or wrong, that's history. Enough of that. You want anything else? It was this. You want to know what happened with Melmoth? You want to know why I find it so hard to trust cast-offs? It's because of people like him. I came back here after the first died, since I could... Wait, here? No, you didn't. Since I couldn't kill her myself, I looked for something else to do with my life. Everyone here told me accrue power, like I knew how to do that. Melmoth, he told me he'd show me. He'd help me build an enterprise if I'd help him with some troubles. I agreed. She swallows. He taught me how to kill people. He helped me become the White Death. He made me famous, and then he turned the levies on me. I made him pay for it, of course. He got cut out of the Dendra for decades, but he'd already taught me my lesson. Don't trust the cast-offs. That's why I work alone. Don't ever forget that. She straightens her cloak. So, let's get moving. But aren't you working with me? How did Nang lose his eyes? He lost control of his form, or perhaps I threatened him somehow. Either way, he shows his other form, and I defended myself with the tides. Her gaze is flat and level. He never recovered. Did you ever see Padge Reckon again? Yeah, we met her earlier. Oh yeah. Once, in Mila Vest. Padge didn't remember Colne Village. She didn't remember the people she sacrificed for a pointless, endless war, and she couldn't even understand why I'd care. I'd have her throat if Edoras hadn't held me back, upheld her precious peace. And then when Padge was gone and I'd calmed down, one of the others asked me what the problem was. He said the villagers would all have been dead in a few decades anyway. I vowed I'd never think like that. But here I am, a couple centuries later, and people seem to die too fast and too young, and I can't let myself care. She scuffs the dirt. Immortality is a curse, especially when your companions in eternity are cast-offs. I want to talk to you about this one. I don't know when you left. Tash wiped my memories, and wait, no. Tash saved me and flew away with the first. I went and found him a decade later, and we fought. I won, obviously. After that, I traveled the world. I went to Colne to remind myself what humanity does to the strange and different. I realized I had no purpose. I went to Mila Vest to see what our brethren were doing, and they hadn't changed at all. They told me to gather power. She barks a laugh. Our Creator made us many things, but most of all he made us mad for strength in all its forms. I scorned their advice, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized the truth. When you're powerful, people can't hurt you. Her voice drops, or the ones you love. Let her continue. So I came to Sagus Cliffs. I started working. One of our brothers hired me, and then he betrayed me. I thought he'd help me, but just like Padge, like the first, just like Tash, he turned on me. That's when I learned that I can't trust anyone. So I struck back at him, hard. It was then that I decided to make my own organization. That lasted for about a decade. The endless politics inside the group, the recriminations, fighting against other gangs, the inevitable betrayals. Ugh. I gave up on that and went solo. Eventually I went back to the Bloom and worked for Memavira. The old one, I mean. Those were good years. I felt like I belonged. There was friction, to be sure, but we were a team. And my favorite mortal got betrayed too. She crosses her arms. You want to know why I was... What? You want to know why I was hiding before you found me? It's because I learned that I'm best on my own. If you don't have people, you can't be betrayed. There. You've got your story. Let's not talk about that anymore. I read that wrong. It's fine. I have other questions. How are you holding up? Surprisingly optimistic, but don't tell anyone. It'd spoil the mystique. She looks at you, waiting. I had some questions about the people. Oh, gossip, she raises an eyebrow. How exciting. What do you think about Eratus? He's precious, isn't he? He's a fool, and a dangerous fool at that. Wow, alright. What about Calistige? She hides her secrets. She's welcome to them, as long as she's not spilling mine. I could hardly be less interested in your tawdry little mysteries. You, maybe not, but I've seen the way some of your sisters stare at me. Don't mind them, dear. Some of us have the most malevolent eyes. That's all I wanted. Let's continue on into this gate.
Let's go.
That seems like a good idea. Go. Enter the endless gate.
Updated my journal.
Ah, you're dead. Shit. The cloying fingers release you, perhaps knowing there is nowhere for you to go. You are within the endless gate now. You are theirs. The air is chill and moist. Screams of agony permeate the darkness around you, and you sense something watching. There is no choice but to venture forth. Well, game, that's where you're wrong, because there is the choice to end the stream, which is exactly what I'm doing. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that if you did enjoy, you will come back and watch some more. I stream from Thursdays to Sundays, with Thursday to Saturday being streams of this, and Sunday streams being streams of the creation of my Fallout 4 quest mod, The Bay of Sins. If you're interested in watching that or this, I also have a YouTube channel and a Twitter account, both of which I will post notifications to 5 minutes before I go live. I think that's all I had to say, but I just noticed that Makina has a level, so let's give her some points. And then I will close the stream. Oh. Ability or skill. You know what, let's increase warp dash.
This will be helpful.
Alright. Yeah, so anyway, thank you again, and have a fantastic day.